Hello and welcome to our video. It's 2019 or Ultimate Gamer 19,000, and I'm here today to present to you all the champion of Psionics. So before this video starts, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you want to see more Baldur's Gate 3 and or D&D 5e build guides and or discussion videos. So yeah, let's just get right into it. So to start off with this build, I originally tried to make a build very similar to this. Check the cards if I remember to put them in, because I may not remember. But basically, the whole theme of this build was that I was to build a character that used every single psionic subclass possible. Just threw them all together and see if I could make something that works. Now, when I was first building that build, I ran into a lot of issues, and I originally just decided to just cut it to being a fighter sorcerer build. Which, I mean, yeah, a fighter sorcerer is very powerful and really nice, but it really never fully brought in the thematics I wanted to give it. Or it didn't align with the character's like main goal. The main goal was to use everything that's psionic as possible and see what we could get. So this is why in today's video I've kind of tried to see how, in general, how good can we do. So yeah, to start off with this build, we are taking human. Now, the only reason I'm taking human is because for this build, we want a good dexterity and a good charisma, and our constitution doesn't really matter to us, but we are going to be a frontline character most of the times. It really depends. So overall, I just thought it would be a good idea in general to just make us a very human and take tough, because this build gets 0 to no feats. It gets 1 feat, and that's going to be an ASI. So I think it's a good idea, honestly, to go very human, pick up tough, so then we can make our constitution a 14, but make our wisdom a 10, meaning our wisdom saving throws, we don't have disadvantage on them, because wisdom saves matter. Okay, ignore that, it was quick. Because wisdom saves matter a lot, so it's probably good to not have them be negative. So yeah, we'll be taking very human and pick up tough, because I think that's the best way for this build, to make it that we can still have a good charisma and a good dexterity, but overall not really have to worry about our constitution, but making our wisdom saving throws not abysmal. Now, to start off, we are taking rogue. Now for rogue, the reason why we're taking rogue is solely because our main damage way is going to be with the psionic knives that are granted by the soul knife. Now, quick PSA: the psychic blades are really poorly worded, and a lot of people think, oh, they wouldn't work with extra attack. Oh yes, they would. This build is mainly for thematics, and you're sacrificing a lot of powerful opportunities for thematics. So please, just tell your DM, like, you could make a build that is so much more powerful, but you're not for the sake of a theme. Just ask them if they can just kind of allow you to use your psychic blades for extra attack. Because in reality, it will just be better if you use 2 normal short swords that could potentially be magical. You'll be doing more damage. So overall, just ask your DM, can I please just use my psychic blades for extra attack? Or just treat them as like normal weapons, but they're psychic, and when I kill someone with them, they disappear. Like something cool like that. Just because in reality, they don't provide much value aside from the fact that the first one is a little bit stronger dagger, but then the second one is just a dagger. So overall, just ask them. So I'm just going to assume that your DM is like, yeah, sure, fine, I don't really care. Now it just has allowed you to use your psychic blades at full power. Now, I'm sorry. Now, as a rogue that is going for the first 3 levels, the main things is getting a bunch of skill proficiencies. Now, I imagine this character probably has really good deception, insight, persuasion, perception, because I imagine those are all skills that can kind of be like enhanced psionically, at least, because this is a very psychic power focused build, if you couldn't already tell. So I imagine something like deception, you can kind of twist a person's mind into believing like that you're saying the truth. Insight could be you reading their mind. Intimidation could be you kind of like making yourself scarier in their mind. Persuasion can kind of you using your psionic powers to make it seem like you're being more reasonable than you really are. And now for expertise, I recommend deception and insight for expertises, because I feel like your wisdom won't be the best, so your insight modifier will be a little lower. So just being able to get that as high as possible can be really nice. And also, insight is a very powerful skill. Now, this is not really a rogue that is stealthing or really doing sleight of hand. This is more a thematical character. Now, if you want this character to be stealthing and using sleight of hand, then by all means do it. But when you combine that with how, because this build is bonus action hungry. This build has so many bonus actions that all add into their final DPS. And yes, at the end of this video, I will be showing you basically DPS average, and just showing you like best case scenario. This is what you can do. Now you do have your cutting actions, which you will never use because you are so bonus action hungry. So honestly, we'll just completely go over them. You do have steady aim, which as a bonus action, you can grant yourself advantage on your next attack rolls. I'm sorry if you hear like notification sound in the background. I am just getting so many. I don't know why. Yeah, basically you just use your bonus action to grant yourself advantage on any attack, melee or ranged. That's a fun fact. I thought it was only range because it's steady aim, but no, you can use steady aim and stab someone. I don't know. But yeah, with Sword Knife, you do gain your Psionic Power feature, which basically just allows you to be really good at skill checks. And basically, every skill check that you roll, you add an additional D6 if you're proficient with it, I'm pretty sure. Or like any skill or tool check. Meaning, if you take like with your background, you probably could pick up like criminal and take like stealth and I think sleight of hand and deception. So maybe change out deception for something else. But whatever. Like you can still have. You will be a very good character. You'll be very good at lying to people. Like you will be a pretty nice party face because of your psionic power, which allows you to make really good skill checks. Also, you get psionic whisper, which basically just allows you to telepathically communicate with your allies. Almost every single like psionic subclass has this as their first feature. So if I see another feature that says, "Oh, you can like telepathically communicate with someone," I will just ignore it because every subclass gets it. So just know with this build, you can talk to your allies mentally. And next, honestly, I think it's probably best to just take 5 whole levels of fighter. Now I know that is a lot, and yes, we are getting extra attack at level 8, which does indeed suck, but I mean, honestly, that's probably the best option we do have. Now, with the Rogue Soul Knife, it never says that our second attack with our bonus action doesn't use our dexterity modifier on top for damage rolls. Meaning, we don't have to take 2-weapon fighting unless I'm reading that wrong, which I'm pretty sure I'm not because it just says that when you use your bonus action to attack with your second knife, it just deals a d4 instead of a d6. And nowhere does it says you don't add your dexterity modifier or anything of that nature. Meaning that, yeah, honestly, I'd probably recommend picking up blind fighting here. I say blind fighting, thrown weapon fighting, because you are throwing daggers at people. So if you want to be a more ranged build, I think thrown weapon fighting can be pretty nice, or blind fighting, because with blind fighting you just get blind sense. Is what? Wait, hold on. Blind sight, not blind sense, my fault. And blind sight is just very good. I mean, just being able to see invisible creatures, and also we don't have dark vision, so just being able to get like a worser version of dark vision can be really nice and overall just provide you with a bunch of utility that you really couldn't get anywhere else unless you take like a 1 level Twilight Cleric dip. But I don't know if we're allowed to take a 1 level Twilight Cleric dip with this build. It doesn't really make sense, thematics wise. So maybe we shouldn't. But yeah, overall, picking up blind fighting or 2-weapon fighting are both very good options. And whatever, honestly, pick your favorite here. If you want more damage, pick up thrown weapon fighting. But in my calculations, I did not account for thrown weapon fighting. So yeah, just in my final damage number, assuming you hit everything, you will not see add a +2 if you take thrown weapon fighting instead of blind sight. Now, level 1 as a fighter, we also get Second Wind, which it's a heal that can be decent. I mean, our bonus actions are already so heavy because we're taking a certain class that just gives you too many bonus actions. So, again, honestly, we don't really care for Second Wind, but Action Surge allowing you to do extra attacks. And how I'm doing it with this build definitely is more of like a Nova rather than like a sustained damage build because it doesn't have something like Sharpshooter or anything. So this is going to be more like Nova damage. This is more like it takes a couple rounds to set up, but when you do set up, on average, you're going to be hitting pretty damn hard. Now, for your martial archetype, we're most likely just gonna take Psy Warrior here. Well, not one. I mean, no, we're taking Psy Warrior because that's the whole point of this build. I mean, you probably could do an argument for taking Echo Knight because it could fit the whole psionics theme, like But we'll just take Psy Warrior because it inherently has psionic powers made into it. Like Gift Yankee are psionic warriors, so like, I feel like it can't be cheating. You do get some. Oh damn, sorry. You do see some pretty cool abilities. Again, you get another psionic dice. I wonder if these stack with the rogues, because this is psionic energy dice. What is their called? So yeah, psionic energy die. So I mean, I guess they could kind of blend into each other if you're not careful. So make sure they don't. You do get some pretty cool stuff such as psionic strike, allowing you to do some extra damage. Use some extra damage if you spend your psionic energy dice. Protective field, allowing you to, I'm pretty sure, reduce the damage you receive by a roll of your psionic energy dice. And telekinetic movement, you can basically move an object or a creature with your mind as an action. This can be pretty cool. I mean, just throwing a rock at someone can be nice, or maybe just pushing your ally out of the way of something can also be cool. But yeah, that's kind of all we'll be taking. Cyanide 4. I mean, this build is very concise. We do get an ability score improvement here. I recommend just picking up dexterity, picking up +1 to dexterity, no, +2 dexterity, and gaining yourself a 20 dexterity because you are a dexterity focused character. So having a 18 dexterity, not 20, my fault, can overall just be very nice. And also at 5th level, you gain extra attack, allowing you to attack twice instead of once when you take your attack action. Assuming your DM allows you to use extra attack with Soul Knife and action surge with Soul Knife, all that. But next, honestly, I think it's time to take some Warlock levels. Now, Warlocks have one subclass, the Great Old One, that is fully focused on psionics. But if we're being honest here, the only thing they get is Awakened Mind. And this is a completely dead feature. And I know, we're doing this, but come on, let's be honest here. Awakened Mind is a feature we already have with every other subclass we take. So in my personal opinion, why don't we just take something that can help out our damage, but can still have some relative sense? And I think in this sense, I will be taking Hexblade. What the hell? Ooh. Okay. Sorry, folks. Okay, you know what? I know what the Hexblade gives you. So we'll just switch over to another page. I don't know why that happened. But the Hexblade Warlock, what you get from it is basically your Hexblade's Curse, and which the Hexblade's Curse is a very powerful feature. Solely because you can add your proficiency bonus to any attack you make, and you crit on a 19 or 20, which is very powerful. Basically, just allowing you, when you're on a build like this, on your Nova round, just do an absorbent amount of damage. Also allows you to pick up stuff like Shield, and Hex, and Armor of Agathis, or Armor of Agathis, very early on. Those three spells are kind of must-haves in my personal opinion, and something you should definitely look into and take. Okay, so broken. For your Eldritch Invocations, because we will be taking 2 levels of Warlock, because I personally think that's pretty good. We'll be taking Agonizing Blast, allowing us to now use our Eldritch Blast, and have that be a little bit good. And then Armor of Shadows. Armor of Shadows is quite literally just a permanent mage armor, and mage armor is in fact stronger than any studded leather we can buy unless it's +1. So just being able to get a free +1 to our armor class, assuming we don't already have magical armor, can be pretty nice. And also we can just, now our characters can wear normal clothing, meaning our characters can be wearing a suit and tie to like a Gao or a ball, but still be defensive. And honestly, I think that's kind of one of the more underrated features about this build. This build can look like a completely normal person. They can be wearing commoner's clothes, but still be fully ready to absolutely just get into combat and do a lot of damage. With the Soul Knife, you can just conjure your weapons, and you have a bunch of magic that allows you to get your armor on you in a second. You don't use a shield, so you're not going to be carrying one of those around. You don't have any knives on you because you don't need to. And overall, this build just really can work in as more of like a stealthy type of person. So maybe you do want to take stealth for one of your proficiencies, maybe your expertises, because this character can be a very good infiltrator, especially since you will have a good deception, persuasion, and all of that. So this character probably would be a half-decent infiltrator in my personal opinion. But next, and finally, just to even it out, and also I didn't want to pick up some cool spells, we have Sorcerer. Now, personally, I think this build must take at least 3 levels of Sorcerer, um, solely because I want to get one spell, and I feel like the spell just makes sense. I want to get Tasha's Mind Whip. Now, if you don't know, Tasha's Mind Whip basically is just Synaptic Static, but like weaker. But it's still a very powerful spell. You do 3d6 psychic damage, which we are dealing psychic damage very much. Intelligence saving throw, which is a harder saving throw to make for most beasts. And also, if they fail, they can't. They need to move, take an action, or a bonus action. They can't do all three. This is pretty damn massive. This can be pretty paralyzing in the right situations used on the right monsters. And also, if you upcast it, you can target more creatures. But with our meta magics, I personally recommend just picking up Quicken and Twin Spell. Just being so, I would recommend probably just either to quicken Tasha's Mind Whip, or to twin it. Honestly, I think twinning Tasha's Mind Whip probably is your best use of your sorcery points. Just being able to fully just do that to someone else. So you can now twin. Oh wait, you can't twin Eldritch Blast, right? No, because Scorching Ray. But you can. I mean, you can twin something useful. I don't know. You can probably twin something that would do good. Or again, if you just want to do like full on Eldritch Blast goodness, you can quicken Eldritch Blast and just get to blast in the ever living hell out of someone. And overall, you can just do a bunch of damage. Now, for our Sorcerer subclass, we will be taking Aberrant Mind. Who would have thought? we do get some pretty cool spells here. Arms of Hadar, Dissonant Whispers, Calm Emotions, Detect Thoughts are spells that really fit into the flavor of this build by allowing us to just further enhance our psionic potential. And again, Telepathic Speech, we already have this with literally every other class feature that we have. So, now looking at all the levels we take, we would be around like level 13 to 14 if you follow my leveling guide. Meaning, this is kind of when I will stop recommending you what type of levels to take. Honestly, I think for sure you probably should take one more rogue, fighter, and sorcerer level, so then for 3 levels in a row, you'll be getting more ASIs, allowing you to fully just get more feats, increase your stats up by a lot. So overall, that's the thing. Like, if you leave this character at level 13, which is I feel like a good point to leave it at, that's when most campaigns end. A lot of characters will only have that one feat they get at first level, and then the one feat they get at fighter level 4. So overall, this character can be pretty thirsty for, like kind of ASIs, because it kind of has its charisma, it can do good with Eldritch Blast, but its dexterity, it's its main attacking stat. So it does have some issues there, but overall, that's kind of the only issue this build really faces. Its armor class is going to be okay to decent with an 18 thanks to mage armor. No, it would be 17 thanks to mage armor because we don't have a 20 dexterity. Overall, your HP is going to be pretty good because we did take tough, making those sorcerer levels we took a little less worse to take and not really affect our HP that much. We do have stuff like shield that can help us just stay alive and like, deflect or even negate attacks. We can pick up stuff like silvery barbs, hold person, which can be pretty good utility, and or paralyzing spells that can really paralyze an encounter. And also, Armor of Agathis can just give us really good defensive with extra temporary hit points. And if someone does attack us, they will be taking some damage back themselves. Now, all of that aside, plus the fact that we do have some really cool sneak attack from the Soul Knife Rogue, this build's final damage, assuming I didn't forget anything, which I think I may have forgotten something, which I will mention. It's so embarrassing if I did forget it. This build, on average, assuming you have your Hexblade's Curse up, you also have Hex up, and use your Action Surge, can do 79 damage on average. Which is pretty damn good, and it gets even better when you don't look at the fact that I forgot Sneak Attack. 86. Yeah, so this build in total, with Action Surge, can do up to 86 damage, assuming you take 2 turns, so bonus action Hexblade's Curse, and what else? What else do you? Bonus action Hexblade's Curse, and Hex spell. You can get some pretty good damage up. And again, this isn't assuming for any crits, because you do have an expanded crit ratio, thanks to Hexblade's Curse. So yeah, 86 damage is pretty nice. Granted, with over 3 turns of setup, that is decently long. But again, they don't have to make any saving throws, meaning that 10 times out of 10, like 10 times out of 10, this will work because there's no saving throws they can make. They simply just have to, do it. Because again, failing a saving throw and your AC getting hit are two different things. There are some characters that have an AC of 30 that can just stack their AC infinitely high and it's just very hard to hit them. But their saving throws are like plus ones and plus twos in wisdom. So hitting your character. So I personally feel like this build is stronger than any build that relies on a saving throw being hit. Because this is just as long as you hit your enemy, which I mean you don't have a decent chance of hitting them, especially if you can get advantage in some way. They most likely don't have any ways to just negate your damage unless they have stuff like shield. With a saving throw, they can just choose to succeed. There's no feature in D&D, well at least that most boss monsters that I know of say, that they just say, oh no, that your move just doesn't hit me. How with saving throws, however, most bosses, if you hit them with a hold person or hold monster, they will just say, oh no, I succeed. Because I use my legendary action, or legendary resistance. And yeah, they may only have one or two or three of those, but what if they have really good saving throws? What if it's one of those bosses that can rely on rolling a natural one for them to fail, because it's the only way of beating them? If they just use your legendary resistance, then okay, well, you're just going to waste your rest of your turns, keep praying for more natural ones and twos and threes? There's no real point. So overall, this damage may be a tad bit lower than what you expect, but again, we are sacrificing a lot of possible damage opportunities for flavor. If I was to make this build a lot stronger, I would say screw Soul Knife, completely ditch that, go 11 levels of Fighter with 2 levels of Hexblade Warlock, and we would probably do so much more damage. But again, with a build like this, I am kind of limiting myself, handicapping myself, to just kind of provide a what-if scenario. But yeah, that's it for today's video. If you guys did enjoy this video or have any recommendations or things I've missed, or you can actually get your damage higher because of this spell or whatever, make sure to leave it down below. And yeah, that's your boy OT19, signing out. Peace.